Hello everyone, welcome to the program. So on today's program, we're going to be talking about the four specific functions of a root. We have anchorage, absorption, storage, and conduction. And we're going to apply these four functions of the root to trees. It also applies to shrubs, but today we're talking about trees. So let's talk about anchorage. You go out to the nursery, you find a tree that you like, and you find a place in the garden it's going to go, and you get ready to plant it. And it comes with a single garden or a single nursery stake. Very important that you remove the nursery stake that came with the tree, the single nursery stake, and you want to support that tree with two stakes on the side. Okay? The reason being is you have to be able to encourage the root system to be able to grow and develop to anchor the tree to the soil. You don't want to have a nursery stake doing the work for the root system. Very, very important. And so when you put the two stakes on both sides of the tree, you want to make a figure eight loop around the tree, going from the stake around the trunk of the tree on both sides of the tree, so that you create this figure eight effect. Now what's going to happen is, as wind hits the crown of the tree, whether the tree being deciduous or evergreen, you want that tree, the energy is going to go hit the crown of the tree, go down the trunk, and into the root system, to encourage the root system to be able to build a strong, healthy root, whether it be the wide root hairs, which are picking up nutrients, whether it be the anchor roots. The entire root system has to be able to strong enough so as the years go by, you develop a strong, healthy root system to be able to hold this tree up. That's the anchorage effect. A single stake back coming from with the tree may not encourage the root system to develop to its fullest potential, because the stake actually can act as the root in the sense of holding the tree up. You want the root system to have that anchorage to hold the tree in place. Absorption. This is extremely important. When you think of absorption, you want to think of it as a soil particle and the root system going around that soil particle. And as the soil particle contains all the nutrients that root system needs to develop a strong, healthy plant. Well, the white root hairs on the plant are the feeder roots. And what you want to do is you want to develop a root system so they can wrap the roots around a soil particle. And when the plant needs it, it pulls the nutrients off and it starts conducting. We'll talk about conduction in a moment, but the ability for the root system to absorb nutrients off a soil particle and bring them up into the root system of the plant, up to the vascular system, and ultimately into the crown of the tree to develop foliage, flowers, or fruit production. This is where how we manage our soil becomes very, very important. Because if you have a soil that's compacted, if it's compressed, a lack of available oxygen, the root system is not going to be encouraged to pull nutrients, because why? Those nutrients may be in the soil but unavailable to the root system. You want to create a soil that has plenty of available oxygen. You want to create a soil that has plenty of available moisture, not where it's standing moisture, but where it's got available moisture for the root system. So as that root system starts wanting to pull nutrients and water off of there, the nutrients and water are there for the plant to pull when needed. Now we're going to talk about storage. Storage is extremely important, because when I say storage, I'm talking about the carbohydrates that the plant needs. When you go through the photosynthetic process, where you have light energy that's converted to chemical energy, consequently, that chemical energy are carbohydrates. The carbohydrates, which are being made from the leaf of the plant, and they travel down the vascular system of the plant, and a majority of them end up in the root system. The ability for the root to store the nutrients down inside the plant, and this mainly happens towards the end of the growing season, around beginning of May, August, September, when all the nutrients, or majority of the nutrients, are getting pumped into the root system of the plant. Now what happens is, as the plant gets ready to reproduce going into the springtime, you have all those carbohydrates, proteins, and everything else that the plant made through the photosynthetic process are inside the root system. Now the plant's going to start to draw on those carbohydrates, and it's going to produce a brand new crown, produce flower production, going into fruit production. But it's important that the ability to take those nutrients and store them in the root system, and then start to pump them back up. And what is the pumping process? That's conduction. The ability for the plant to take the nutrients that it started off on a soil particle, it got stored inside the root system, and now at the beginning of the growing season, what it's doing is it's conducting it up. And growing a plant in an environment that is not overly wet, is not compacted soil, available oxygen, is only going to help the plant conduct because why? It has beneficial environmental conditions, cultural conditions, which are going to favor the plant to grow, in this case, to develop a strong, healthy root system. So as I said, you want to develop the 4 primary functions of the root system. We have the anchorage, the ability to hold the plant up during inclement weather. We have absorption, pulling nutrients off a soil particle. We have storage of the carbohydrates that have been made through the plant through photosynthesis. And finally, conduction, which is the ability of the plant to pull the nutrients from the root system through the trunk of the plant and up inside the crown. Okay, so with that, go enjoy the garden.